After being stuck on Disney Plus for the past 2 years, Pixar has finally returned to the big screen through the latest film, Lightyear. Not only does this film provide a new take on the Space Ranger that everyone knows and loves, but it's also meant to act as the reason why Andy wanted a Buzz Lightyear toy in the first place. Admittedly, it's a bit of a confusing concept, but a unique one nonetheless. Of course, with this new universe, we have some new characters all ranging in morality. And while it may be a fairly small cast, we're still gonna rank them all. I'm Kyle with Wicked Binge, and this is Pixar's Lightyear characters, good to evil. And real quick, major, and we do mean major, spoilers ahead for not only the film's characters, but a big twist as well. As usual, we'll be starting with the most noble and heroic character, and working our way down to the most evil. These characters are the good. Earning the gold medal of good, we have Alicia Hawthorne. Alicia is Buzz's best friend and is one of 2 commanding officers that we meet in the film, though she is a bit more easygoing than Buzz, often poking fun at him for his narrating. Alicia is also determined and incredibly brave, having Buzz's back no matter what, while she also encourages Buzz not to give up after first failing the mission. Once she realizes the sacrifice that comes with continuing the mission, she's willing to put a stop to things for Buzz's sake. Under her command, the Takana Prime colony is able to thrive, and while Alicia is forced to give up her life as a Space Ranger, she's still able to do a ton of good in her lifetime. With a heart of gold and a level of honor that anyone would be proud of, we felt that no one else really deserved the gold medal. Next, we're gonna give the silver medal of good to Alicia's granddaughter, Izzy. Next to Buzz, Izzy sort of acts like a co-leader amongst her ragtag defense team as they go up against Emperor Zurg. As such, she shares many great traits with her commander grandmother. She's brave, tough, encouraging, determined without being too stubborn about it, and cares deeply about her teammates, even when they mess up. When Izzy herself makes a mistake, such as when she accidentally releases their escape ship's fuel crystal, she does what she can to make up for it. Izzy even faces her fear of space in order to save Buzz's life.
That's a lot of space.
Which is very admirable. Though her insecurities and overeagerness can make her a less than perfect hero, she easily follows in her grandmother's footsteps. For our bronze medal of good, it's going to the always helpful Socks. And we won't lie, we all knew that this little robo kitty was going to become a quick fan favorite. Being similar to Big Hero 6's Baymax, Socks is meant to be both an assistant and companion to Buzz. Seeing him try to help Buzz sleep or offer to listen to him when he has a nightmare is just incredibly wholesome. But while he can be incredibly helpful, being more than willing to help out when needed, Socks also has his moments of being pretty blunt. Like when he told Buzz that he regretted coming with him, once he realized how terrifying the mission would be.
That was utterly terrifying, and I regret having joined you.
He was also willing to trank another colony member, in order to help Buzz and save himself from being decommissioned. Occasional cowardice and bluntness aside, Socks continues to prove himself throughout the film. He's able to improve the hyperspace fuel Buzz has, allowing him to travel faster than light without being destroyed. He's also able to assist in the final battle against Zurg, with his alternate self even being willing to go against Zurg to help Buzz. Though maybe not as useful or filled with weapons as another Buzz Lightyear related robot, XR, Socks still manages to make for a wonderful addition to the team. Following, we have Mo Morrison. Out of all the colony's junior defense team members, Mo is by far the most inexperienced due to being a rookie and a fresh recruit. In another comparison to the animated Lightyear-verse, think somewhere along the lines of Booster, only as a human instead of a big lovable alien. He's pretty clumsy, making several notable mistakes during crucial points throughout the film, and was even willing to surrender himself to the alien beetles after panicking. So yeah, Mo doesn't have a ton going for him. Still, as weak and anxious as he may be, Mo still tries to help when he can. He's even able to save the day twice in the film's climax, helping Darby activate her trap and using his pen to help the team escape. Despite all his flaws, Mo doesn't seem to have any actual malicious bone in his body, and this is what earns him his ranking just above our titular character. Finishing off our good section, we have the titular Buzz Lightyear. First thing you should know about this Buzz is that he doesn't really start out as the traditional Space Ranger hero that we all know him as. Instead, this version of Buzz starts out as a test pilot, and while not quite as confident or potentially arrogant as the Toy Story Buzz, though he does drop the "I'm Buzz Lightyear, I'm always sure" line, this Buzz still makes mistakes. He's not only the reason why he and the rest of the Rangers are trapped on the planet, but Buzz also takes it upon himself to test the new, faster-than-light fuel, despite Commander Burnside ordering him not to. This unintentionally leads to the creation of Emperor Zurg, and while he's not the villain that other incarnations were, he's still not exactly a good thing to have around. His anti-rookie stance is also not a great look, but while Buzz makes a lot of mistakes throughout the movie, he's eventually able to accept these mistakes, refusing to erase the lives of those living in the Takana colony, even if it means living with these mistakes forever. Buzz is also shown to be a decently good leader and a pretty good friend to each of his teammates. He can also be incredibly brave as well as responsible, given how willing he is to face off against Zurg and take him out once and for all. Though he's not perfect and his good actions don't erase his mistakes or negative traits. Now that we've made our way through the good section, we've come to the more neutral characters. This is the gray area. Starting off, we have the final member of Team Lightyear, Darby Steele. Essentially being the team's explosive expert, Darby is an elderly convict who was forced to be a part of the colony's defenses as part of her parole agreement. Alicia's line about how Darby can make anything explode pretty much sums up her entire character. Though she tries to follow the rules of her parole, Darby is more than happy to break them when she gets the chance, and is casually destructive, being more than happy to kill robots. She also tends to mess with Mo, being fairly annoyed with him and often being snarky towards him. Still, given that her biggest crime was stealing a spaceship, something that Buzz himself did, it hardly makes her a villain. Like Mo, Darby is able to share her skills and even has a couple save-the-day moments. She also seems to have a bit of a sweet spot for Izzy, which is nice to see. Honestly, if it weren't for her more destructive side, she likely would have made it into the good. Next, we have Commander Burnside. Burnside is the commanding officer who takes over after Alicia retires. Similar to Commander Nebula from the animated Buzz Lightyear series, Burnside can be strict and can have a bit of a temper. When Buzz tries to convince Burnside to continue the escape mission, Burnside was pretty dismissive towards him. And while we can understand Burnside's perspective, being someone who literally grew up on the colony, it was still a bit rude. Then again, you can't really blame him for getting angry when Buzz recklessly disobeys a direct order.
Override the silo doors. He isn't going anywhere.
In terms of being a commander, Burnside does seem to be a good one, being someone who cares about the safety of the colony and is willing to put his life on the line for its sake. We also do see a bit of Burnside's more reasonable and forgiving side. He does threaten to arrest Buzz at the end of the movie, but it doesn't take much to convince him into letting them recreate the Galactic Rangers Corps. Finishing up our gray area, we have Ivan. Technically not a huge character in the movie, but since we're counting Socks, another robotic character, we figured that we would give Ivan a mention too. Being the main autopilot program of Star Command, Ivan is just as blunt and sometimes just as frustrating and annoying as any Alexa or GPS program. Even when Buzz is trying to save himself, Ivan is there to try to convince Buzz to not be so reckless. But Ivan is just doing his job, and though he doesn't exactly go through any character development per se, he does prove his usefulness, which allows Buzz to warm up to him. And finally, we've arrived at the Scrounge of the Galaxy. These characters, or rather single character, falls in the bad and the evil. Unsurprisingly, there's only one character that manages to make it into this tier, and that's Emperor Zurg. So, last chance to turn back if you don't want to be spoiled. Unlike other incarnations that have portrayed Zurg as a simple one-track minded toy, or as a goofy dictator voiced by Wayne Knight, this Zurg turns out to be another version of Buzz himself. Confused? Yeah, we don't really blame you. Anyway, Zurg is naturally the commander of his robotic army, using his bots to attack the colony on Takana Prime in order to get his hands on more fuel. instead of taking over the galaxy. This Zurg's main goal is to travel back in time and stop his younger self from crash landing on Takana in the first place. While yes, doing this may seem heroic in a sense, as it would prevent an entire colony's worth of people from being stranded on a dangerous alien planet, it's also incredibly reckless. Even when Buzz points out how changing the timeline would essentially erase the lives that the people on the colony have already lived, Zurg just doesn't care. He's determined to fix his mistakes and finish the mission by any means necessary, even if it means destroying his younger self and threatening innocent people. He even kills Socks. If that doesn't prove how heartless he's become, nothing will. He is, by all accounts, Buzz's darkest side, fueled by obsession, guilt, and stubbornness. While we can't say for sure whether or not this twist actually works, we can at the very least give Zurg the title of most evil Lightyear character, even if it is technically by default. But let us know in the comments section below if you agree with our ranking, and tell us what we should cover next. Remember to hit that notification bell and binge our Good to Evil playlist, where we break down the morality of the characters in your favorite cartoons, shows, and movies. But most importantly, stay wicked.